Hello and welcome to another session of Godbound. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him. If it bothers you that I've just said my pronouns, this might not be a series you want to listen to. There you go. How about that for a content warning right at the start? But this session is part of the Gauntlet Gaming Calendar, which is an online gaming community. We have about 100 sessions that are done on the calendar that all use safety tools of some kind, follow our community code of conduct. We've got a lot of different games, a lot of different series. About maybe half, maybe less of the sessions are recorded by our game masters each month, our game facilitators. And we have those available via our YouTube channel. So if you're watching this and you're like, I wonder if there's other stuff, from this GM, if you like it, or maybe I should avoid it. So you can find, and check that what my name is. But you can also check out the Gauntlet YouTube channel, which has a bunch of great stuff on it. We have a person, Rob Aberzato, who organizes all of those into playlists. I think I've been going through, and we had 160 sessions of masks on the Gauntlet in that playlist from the last several years, all these different series, lots of wonderful stuff. But we're in Godbound. This is the second session of this new arc. Last time, our characters made some choices about where they wanted to go to, what they wanted to do, and primarily they've decided that they are going to head out to deal with the threat of these storm giant pirates. They are out in the sea that lies to the east and south of them. That's primarily where they've been operating. And the group knows that these are associated with, tied to, connected in some way to this corrupted storm, this elemental evil storm that is out there, another one that escaped from the pyramid where they were bound from last time. These are forces of some kind from the God War from before. What exactly they are, not entirely clear, but that's something to be discovered. Now, I believe, if I may, we can kind of see. I believe that we have NPC wise with you on the vessel. Number one is Leisha is there. As well as, of course, Mr. Butters, who is the first mate, so he's definitely there. Who else is there? Threadless, was there anybody that you were?
I think that we invited the foremost assassin, Tonsiker.
Tonsiker, okay.
Yeah, Tonsiker.
Yep.
And I don't know if any of the other assassins came or choosing to come. So I certainly talked to Bonshaw.
Okay.
So
well, Tonsiker is definitely there. Professor Avedro, I know that you had talked, and there was some discussion about sending along some of the students, but then it seemed to you like perhaps that Yashad was more sending them along to be culled. So who or what did you bring along?
It was, I believe, Yashad, excuse me, had suggested that we bring Tonsikar, and I left Tintefa in charge of the school while I was gone.
Yeah.
And I really hoped that these students would be able to complete their community service requirement by joining us on this trip, but apparently it was not to be. So I actually don't know that I brought anyone else with me, because this is more, for me, this is a vacation. I'm getting really burnt out at the school.
Didn't the cartographer want to come along?
Oh
yeah, you could certainly ask Crick, and she would be definitely interested in going. It's a break from her trying to map the school and the library. And she's also, I mean, as dangerous as it is, she is interested just because she's seen these other corrupted evil elemental things. Tassos, are any of your assassins with you, or are either of the kids with you?
I don't think Tassos has enough sway or material goods in the world to get any of the Alabaster assassins onto a ship sailing towards storm giants.
That seems fair.
But I do think I'd like to have Dala along, the sister of the Dream Skipper siblings.
Okay.
And Delok, if we like, he might be there in Dreamland sort of thing if we want to bring him in at some point. But I think Dala's there physically.
My notes say that you talked to Nuan Lao about coming with us. Did they?
I did talk to her about it, and
But they also
she
were like, no.
very emphatically told me to go fuck right off.
Yes.
Not interested in storm giants. I think that is also in my notes.
Yes.
Storm giants are unworthy.
Tell me, with Dala, we've talked about the kids growing up. We've talked about the kids changing. So what we're a couple months since the last time we've seen them on screen. What is different about Dala? Like, what do we see? Are there any visible signs of the changes that are affecting her and her brother as they become part of your dream gardeners?
I think she looks healthier and probably more stable, happier than the last time we saw her. She was in that ranging from victim to witness of constant chaos. So there was a lot going on. I think she's a bit more healthy and stable. I think at night, like her eyes sort of black out and glitter with starlight as a sign of the dreaminess. But that's about the physical change. But I think just in her comfort in her personality, she's a lot more outgoing. She's a lot less afraid, and I think she's always been very athletic. But that's gone to like a parkoury sort of ecstatic running extreme. I think she's having a lot of fun on a ship with rigging and stuff like that.
Awesome. On like a similar note, a related note, Ransom, you have been investing time and energy in your ship's parrot. Are they any different at this point? I've forgotten what the parrot's name is.
Cookie.
Cookie, thank you.
And yeah, I think that first off, his chatter is far more intelligent, and he can carry on a conversation. But I think kind of the more noticeable
can
thing.
he read?
I think so, in that almost like Disney cartoon sort of way.
Fair enough.
When he needs to, or it's appropriate, he can catch the drift of things. And similarly, I think there's a bit of that anthropomorphic kind of, like, his expression has gotten a bit more human, like he'll make motions with his face and eyes.
What actor is voicing Cookie now?
Ooh, oh, that's a good one. John Rhys Davies.
All right, so very, very deep sound
Yes.
for Cookie now. He went from Gilbert Gottfried maybe in the early part to John Rhys Davies. Oh, all right, that's awesome. Now, we'll take a little montage of the trip here in a second, but Tyler, you have a good number of abilities that relate to this journey, to this sea travel. So I want to ask you about what we might see on screen about that, and then I want to talk to Professor Vedra, who also has literal journey talents and see if there's anything that we see being put into play as you travel. So let me start with you, Ransom.
I think we've laid out the all sail on the sea wing, and of course, catching those currents. She seems to almost be dancing across the waves, and there's always the cloud of seagulls that are around her. And I've made a point to, during the trip as we're going, I've gotten in touch with like dolphins and maybe even a few whale that so we see dolphins dancing at the bow, and to kind of like, if you see anything, come back and tell me. I think there's birds that are flying off and around us, and there's that. We're seeing a crew that is very talented, very capable, and the Sea Wing, she's just a beauty as she's moving through the waters.
I like that quite a bit. Or Devi, Vedra, what is there anything that we see of you? I mean, this is a trip, this is a journey that sort of falls into your area.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and it's nice to be on the road, so to speak. And it's really vibing with me. Mechanically, I haven't chosen many gifts related to journeying, but the word itself means that I always know exactly where I am on a journey. And travel is restful and nourishing, which I wasn't even thinking about when I was thinking that he wanted to go on a vacation so badly, but here we are. I feel like that I end up hovering around the Sea Wing's own kind of navigator / cartographer. And even though they're excellent and can read the stars and such really, really well, I'm always kind of nudging their calipers a little bit, like just sort of making minor corrections of the calculations that they're doing, where I recognize that maybe they're not quite accurate on the map.
There'll be that moment when they say, Professor, it is Professor, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
It seems to me that you lack a certain respect for the judgment of our captain.
The captain and I have mutual respect for each other. I know that this boat won't sink, and he knows that I will get it to where it needs to be.
So then you are to be the navigator.
I have a way with knowing where things are and where they should be when they're not properly plotted on a map. Are you saying you don't want my help?
I am saying that if you wish to do this job, you are more than welcome to it.
I'm an educator. It is my role here to help you be a better version of yourself. And clearly there's ample opportunity for that. If you are saying you do not want my help in that endeavor, then I will ask the captain to, then you know what, that's fine. That's fine. But if we end up crashing on rocks, it's not me.
And I expect that, Ransom, there is a conversation that you have with your navigator. That motherfucker, I'm going to put the sextant where the sun doesn't shine.
I understand. He's just trying to help, but
tell him, I mean, if he wants to navigate, Captain, if you want to make him the navigator, that's cool.
No. I'll have a word with him.
Okay. But I think as we say, Professor Venture, like when you're actually on the road journeying,
oh my gosh,
like so much better.
Yes, everything is better.
Yeah.
Everything is better. And I didn't even realize how much I needed it.
Yeah. Threadless, what mechanical changes are you making to this ship beyond this weird barrage of crossbows that you've got built into the foredeck?
Well, I mean, I know that we're heading towards some like extremely large, quote unquote, metal ships, correct?
That's a thing.
Yeah, so essentially, I think that what it is I am retooling everything to be able to punch holes through metal more easily.
Interesting. What does that involve?
It means less fire and explosion to be depended on, and more about shearing and shrapnel and things for weakening an area in a somewhat different way, I think. But essentially, you know, and also, I think in some ways, trying to use the water to help with that. So, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah, I think you're trying to work that out. And Tassos, how do you pass the time on this voyage?
I think I like the dolphins that are following us, and I think they're like sort of a montage of like Tassos going from like kneeling down and staring and like having staring contests with dolphins through the railings on the side of the ship. It just ends inconclusively to like Tassos is turned into a dolphin and is swimming around with the dolphins and is again just like in the water having a staring competition with them, and they can't quite figure out how to bridge that gap between like person mind and dolphin mind, but everybody says dolphins are really smart and it would be neat if his dream realms had dream dolphins in it, but I don't know if we're quite there yet.
Yeah, so you're kind of working on figuring that out.
Yeah, and on the ship itself, I think Tassos, again, sort of thinking they're helping, has activated their what is it, untiring inspiration gift, where within 100 yards, no allies need to rest or eat or drink or breathe, which seems really handy for sailors, but I don't think the sailors are quite expecting or prepared for the not needing to sleep. Like they don't need to, and it's not like they're going crazy or anything, but I think it's just weird for them.
Yeah, there will be that feeling certainly amongst the crew, Ransom, that I mean they're inspired by you, but they're also having this weird thing where, Captain, I went to lay in my berth and I could not get to sleep. It's just I laid there and I stayed awake. I'm not tired, but I'm finding myself. I have to keep busy. Like I can't rest.
I'm sure it's excitement, but I'll look into it. And just if it becomes a greater problem, make sure you come to me, Seaman.
Fair enough.
And I add it to my list of things to talk to my friends about.
Okay. Can I have you roll me a d20, Ransom?
You can. I do think that pretty much every morning I will be committing to Eye of the Hawk, since I can pull it if I need to. So I do have pretty good vision. I don't know if it has anything to do with this. I'm just, it seems wise to me to keep up.
Oh, yeah.
All right, rolling. Ooh, I got a 19.
Got a 19.
Death on the random encounter chart.
No. You will see a vessel, sails set, heavy, heading from east to west, coming through here, and you actually don't recognize the flag right away. Like it's not a ship style that you've seen before. You've traveled mostly in the north. We kind of established that earlier, and it's a thin, fast merchant clipper that is sailing along, not showing damage. It doesn't look like it's under attack or anything like that, but it does definitely like it's a little wary of you. What do you want to do?
I'll call to crew to change tack for intercept, and yell across to to friends here in there. Ship sighted. We're going to intercept and see if we could get a little information. Let's put the best foot forward. We want to be friendly. And I will begin setting us towards it and keeping a close eye on it to see if they like clear for action, or if I notice anything particularly nefarious about them.
Sure. We'll roll for that sort of intercept here in a second. Is anybody else doing anything I should know about when this pops up on there?
I have a gift called Truth That Burns. Commit effort for the scene and choose a visible target. Learn knowledge of them or their plans that they least want you to know. I assume the ship itself being visible is sufficient, or maybe I can see tiny people on the ship far away.
You can see tiny people. I'll say that you may not get the best information at this distance, but I think that you can definitely do that. I think you'll. What does that look like in your mind? Like what's the on-screen representation of that?
That's good. It's a knowledge gift, but I think this is in part the sun working in conjunction with that, and I kind of stand so the sun is shining in a certain way between me and the thing, and I think the sun kind of, in a sense, feeds me information, right? So I'm getting kind of sunbeams coming at me with knowledge about these folks.
So you will be able to tell that these are people from a fair distance from like the far eastern portion of the continent. There's a set of islands there that is a place called Vermilios, and they usually trade fairly locally. So this is sort of unusual that they're this far out down here, and you can tell that they're spooked. Like they're trying to play calm, but there's clearly like the general atmosphere of unease and tension, and actually real fear when they see your ship, especially once your ship kind of turns preternaturally quickly.
So they're spooked by us, not by something else.
They were spooked by something else, and now this weird WYRD ship is coming towards them. Does that seem like fair info for that? Okay. Threadless, are you doing anything?
I suppose if they're hostiles, I would, but they don't seem to be. So I suppose I will go to talk to Captain Ransom and see if he wants me to send a message or something, since I could.
How would the message be delivered, if you don't mind me asking?
By arrow?
Well, are there like flag signals that exist in this world, like we can signal friendly or
I'm sorry, Captain Ransom. Do you want to rephrase that? I think the way you rephrase that is, lol, you don't know anything about sea ships. I think there are signals that you can do from ship to ship. Probably common ones, right? That's the way you need to present it to me.
Okay. Yes, I'm wondering if I can run up a set of flags to show friendly, wishing to speak, which is generally there are those.
Yeah. Let's have you make. They are a little spooked. This is the only reason I'm going to have you make a roll here. Let's either intelligence or charisma roll.
Okay. Let's go with intelligence. That's an 11.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a 10, and I have a 7. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be.
Oh no! What it actually is as long as you roll over your check number, you succeed.
Okay, I have a 10, and it's a 7.
Yeah. So they move to kind of change sail to like not like try to escape or anything like that, but and so you're able to maneuver the ship so it doesn't maybe demonstrate that you could overtake them regardless of their intent. So perhaps it looks a little less imposing here.
Threadless, they seem like they're responding well. I'm a little worried that an arrow flag all the way across the sea might intimidate them some.
Okay.
So then, with that in mind, let's ask Tassos what Tassos is doing.
I think the sort of collective consciousness turns to Tassos, and Tassos is not there, but there is a splash in the water by the ship. As pale dolphin Tassos is streaking across the water towards the other ship to see what's up.
Okay.
Ooh, what a wretched color of pink that is.
Somebody should kill that dolphin. It seems sickened.
Like really sick.
You will close this is Tassos. You can sail. I mean, you can probably make pace with the ship, and
I can swim like the dolphins can swim.
So you will be able to close distance. The two ships are kind of coming together. You can see the people on the ship. There, you can close it clearly. There's a general decision not to take up arms or anything like that, but to clearly kind of stand to and wait and see what happens. And when you close the distance, they drop sail to bring themselves, and their ship is probably about the size of yours, or at least how it was before you kind of did some building onto it. And their captain will kind of walk up to the welcome to Lowell's nautical terms front of the ship. The raised up front part of the ship, forecastle, aft castle, I don't know. They're on deck. So they will shout over, once you're within that kind of distance. I assume there's some sort of tool or megaphone or something, and they will say, and heavily accented, but well, greetings, Captain.
Greetings. From where do you sail?
We came from Vermilio, sir.
And heading to?
Well, my captain, may I in turn ask you where you come from?
Of course, Mashallah.
Mashallah. Is that due west of here?
A little north and west, but yes. A free city port.
We are, how do I put this? Off course by a significant amount, and we're trying to head for a good landing berth from here, and would welcome your suggestions as to where we could land in port.
Do you need repairs, or are there any problems?
We've done the repairs, but our freshwater supplies are lower than we would like them to be. We will last, but we were hit by a raging storm that wrapped across the eastern seaboard, and we were flung well off course.
Well, you might find that Bashala can offer you everything you need and would be happy to trade.
Perhaps we should pull alongside so we can speak.
Absolutely. Come up into our lee.
Okay.
And I'll maneuver us so that we can get into a stable spot. And getting Threadless and is it Evedra or Devi at the moment? Is it day?
Let's find out. It is day. It's probably mid-afternoon.
Oh, I'm in my prime then.
And the two of them, and noticing Tassos is off elsewhere, unless he's come back. They've come back.
Let's just check in. Tassos, what are you doing?
I think the Tessos dolphin nudges up to the side of that ship and turns into a wet and momentarily shivering Tassos monkey that climbs up the side of the ship to find a like cannon door or porthole or something that the Tassos monkey can climb in and explore around below ships.
All right. You will find when you get below decks that they speak the truth, that their water supplies are low. You can see that they have trade goods here, but that like whatever like preserved foods or anything like that that they have are clearly have dwindled. You can also see that they've got a couple of people, a couple of crewmen clearly locked up in the brig.
Did they look particularly injured or mistreated or anything?
They look shell-shocked. They are wrapped and shivering, and they positively glisten with terror.
Yeah, I think Tassos monkey sort of sidles over towards where they're locked up, and just with an unpleasantly jello-like give, walks straight through the bars, like just letting them sort of pass through them, to look up at the people. What is their basest fear? What is their biggest fear? Just choosing the first one that's closest to me.
And you will read the vision of them standing in the midst of piles and piles of blackened bodies, and they are walking through them, and it is for them, it is like walking through the surf, because there's just so many, and they are hip deep, and at points they slip, and there's just this smell around them. That is their fear, what the visualization is that you see manifest.
going to commit effort and go ahead and knock the three of them out and do some at least temporary dampening of their fear levels so they
Yeah,
can have some
they're
distracted
clearly
sleep.
have suffered a terrible, tremendous shock that they've been trying to process that has stayed with them.
And Tessus Monkey will sort of squelch back out of the cage and make their way up to the deck of the ship.
Now I'm going to stop you there because I'm going to cut to the others and then we'll come back to you.
Cool. So I'll just be peeking up to the light.
I'll have, had a quick consultation between the three of us of hopefully we can learn a little bit. It sounds like they may have encountered the outskirts of those giants.
Essentially, the ropes will be tied. You'll throw, a rope bridge across, and this captain will come across to your ship, and has his second in command. She's close by, and he will say, Captain Ransom.
Ransom, yes. May I introduce Professor Evedro and the Lady Threadless.
I'm Scarlos, and this is my first mate, Cochinelle.
A pleasure. It's always good to find others on the sea.
It is. May we speak privately?
Of course. And I will make motion towards the captain's cabin and usher us all in.
Scarlos. And Sherry can spell Cochinelle.
Now, it's the name of the die.
Evedro, Threadless, do you also follow when they go into the cabin?
If Captain Ransom can,
yeah, I
makes it
certainly
clear,
would have
that's fine.
motioned. Yeah, I would have motioned for all of us to go. Yeah.
And the captain will come in and waits until everyone is in and waits until the door is closed.
You seem disturbed.
These are not waters that we'd usually travel in, but we have maps, and once we were able to settle and make an essay as to where we were, we headed to the island of Gunpala. And you would notice it's one of the little islands that's on the map there that is a mid-sea trading port.
Kind of in between Arwenshaw and Desketir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Picture the middle of those three islands that are there.
Gotcha. And where are we at this point? Are we north of that still, or
you're probably a little bit north of that? You've been sailing for a while.
Okay.
Because you don't know exactly where we're going.
Right.
You're trying to find these pirates, and that's pirate hunting is not necessarily an easy thing. You're trying to follow what are the trade routes that seem the most likely.
But they've overshot their spot.
Yes, he says we reached Gunpala.
And was there some sort of issue?
Gunpala is no more.
What do you mean? The town's been sacked or burned? What do you mean no more?
The harbor is filled with broken ships. The town is leveled. There are corpses scattered everywhere. burnt bodies, as if the storm itself had laid down strike after strike of lightning. The without rain. There had clearly been some kind of raid as well. There were enormous footprints scattered about. But it happened some time ago. I would just at a guess, perhaps 2 weeks, but I could not say with any certainty. I do not know the weather here and so on. We did what we could to clear bodies, but it was too much for us. 2 of my men broke them.
I'm very sorry to hear that. You say you saw a storm, however.
No. I suspect a wizard was involved, a sorcerer, if such are present, because it was very clear that lightning had struck every building.
I see. Well, this is not completely unknown to us. We are in fact concerned that there is a threat of fleet down to the south, and we are going to investigate it. Your information is a help.
It's like nothing we had seen before.
I would recommend that you go to Bashala. It will raise your spirits and would give you the supplies you need and any repairs you might like. And I'll kind of have cast my eyes over to Threadless and Evedro to see, with this news, is there anything either of them want to poke at?
And I think Dardus will stop and say, so you said that there were destroyed ships. Did it look like they also were primarily hit by lightning?
From what we could tell, it's difficult to tell. I don't know who they were, but scavengers had clearly been through.
Really? So you had not heard any tales of the storm giants?
Storm giants?
There are stories and rumors of storm giant pirates.
We mostly keep to the waters of the Northeast. It was only the storm that had brushed along the coast off the east side of Duskatir that threw us as far off course as it is.
Stops and says, we had heard these rumors, and that's what we were going to look for. It does sound like Kampala was the victim, was a victim.
Well, I hope that perhaps we can get a measure of fresh water from you, though I do not want to tap your stores. We did not take anything food or water wise from Kampala. It did not seem wise to do so.
I think we could share some of our stores with you to provide you certainly enough to be able to get you to Bashala.
I will tell you this as well. There were not nearly as enough bodies there as should have been counted for a town of that population.
Yes, that is sad to hear. Well, Captain, if I will direct my crew to begin putting supplies across. You are more than welcome to dinner here, and I would love, if we could, maybe a chance to see your fine ship.
Absolutely, certainly. Tassos, those 3 plus these 2 go into the captain's cabin to talk. What does Tassos Monkey do during that period?
I think Tassos Monkey, they wait for an opening between legs for a moment, and then dash towards that plank, that bridge between the two ships, and halfway between the ships starts stretching and morphing into full shape Tassos, who
Oh,
strides.
there's shouts and cries and screams from the Vermilio ship.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, strong strides straight up to the captain's cabin as I fling open the door and say to all inside, "They have 3 people that belong to me, and I want them."
Even as you're doing that, of course, in the background, we can hear the shouts and cries and screams from the Vermilio's ship. This seems like a good place for us to take our first break, and then we'll come back to deal with that. What is the puppy's name, Dan?
This is Walnut.
Oh,
Walnut is very cute.
super cute.
He was upstairs barking. So
Oh, okay.
kids are trying to go to sleep. So I had to go get him.
Okay. Let's take our first break here for 10, and then we'll come back, okay? Outside, you'll start hearing some shouting, Ransom, from the other ship. Some cries, like the panic, and then the door to your captain's cabin comes flying open, and Tassos is there. Light behind him, kind of silhouetted. He's always kind of silhouetted, but this time, very much so. And Tassos, what is it exactly you said again?
They have 3 people that belong to me, and we'll be taking them.
Captain, may I introduce my other companion, Tassos? What do you mean, Tassos?
They have 3 people who belong to me, that have fallen out of this world and into mine. And instead of helping them, or talking to them, or treating them, or doing anything for them, they lock them in a very small box. And so I will be taking them with me.
And you'll hear Cochinelle go, "Like hell you will."
Tassos, we can't be pressing other people's crew, but I'm sure we can discuss your concerns.
They are not crew, and I am not pressing them. They are not people. They are burning. They are destruction. They are casualty. And they're mine.
There will be that long-suffering look I give to Threadless as Captain
Scarlo stands and says, "Captain, my first mate and I will be returning to our ship."
I say, wait, can you explain why you have taken people who have clearly been traumatized by events transpiring around you and locked them in the brig?
We have put them. First of all, I do not need to explain the judgments of what occurs on my ship, just as I would not question Captain Ransom, your handling of matters on your ship.
of course.
But for the sake of diplomacy, and because you have directed us in fashion, I will tell you that we have put them there to give them a private space away from the others, so that rather than being left as they were in and amongst the crew cabins, trying to force them to do things, we have given them space. Now, we have been at sea, and we have a doctor, and this is outside treatment of the normal conditions. And I hope when we land to be able to provide them some succor.
Perhaps, Captain, then I don't wish for this to in any way get into the wrong foot, but my companions are all quite capable in their own ways of perhaps aiding your crew.
Aiding my crew is one matter. Coming in and declaring that you're going to take part of my crew, people that I have traveled with for a very long time, people that I have promised to return them to their homeland, that is an entirely different matter.
Those three are rotting and decaying in a land that they have no experience in. You cannot help them, and they will not find their way back on their own. Certainly not where they're suffering now. I can lead them out. I can help them. If you want those men to ever go home, you'll give them to me. If you want arson to return to its family, then please go ahead.
Despite his demeanor, I assure you, Tassos is quite skilled in the afflictions of the mind. There's a lot left unsaid with that statement, but but I assure you, we will, and I will give Tassos a pretty severe look at.
Captain, may I speak with you privately?
Yes, of course, please. And I'll like motion him to the balcony at the back of the ship.
And he gestures for Cochanel to leave, as if to indicate and your companion should leave.
A
Okay.
moment, please.
Yeah, and I think I will step out of the cabin with Cochanel, and I'll say, so those are the ones who were traumatized?
Are you saying that to Tassos? Are you saying that to Cochanel? Who are you
I
saying
said
that
it to Cochanel.
They were the ones who broke under the labors of the care that we tried to give at the island.
She goes, I understand that my companion Tassos has no tact whatsoever, nor any speech mannerisms that entail courtesy or consideration for others. And she goes, but his power to heal can be mighty. She goes, I do not know. I understand that it is hurtful to your pride and certainly would seem like a betrayal if he were to fail them. But it may be their best chance to return to being the men you knew.
She will lean in and she will say, had this been put in another way, the possibility might have existed, but at this point, not.
To understand that, I simply had to say these words.
Captain Ransom.
Yes. I'm sorry, Captain, for the lack of tact of my companion. He is an odd one, but I promise you, he means to aid them.
Sir, I am the captain of my ship, and if I were to hand over 3 of my men, regardless of their condition, to strangers that we've just met on the ship and who apparently have some sort of sorceress abilities, my men are already on edge. I cannot do this, even if I wanted to.
Would it be possible, perhaps, for you to allow Tassos to come to your ship to see if he can aid them? He is a doctor of sorts.
Wait, you say that with some hesitation that worries me.
He deals in the mind, not the body.
If he wishes to treat my men aboard my ship and offer them some relief from their condition, that is one thing. But I will not give you my men.
I understand, nor would I expect you to.
if you will tell your compatriot that we will be traveling to Bashala from here.
Of course. And
Are there others like Tassos there, others who could treat there?
no, none like Tassos anywhere that I've been. But there are certainly those there who would make them comfortable, as well as your crew.
Then if it will allow you to a point of negotiation with your crew member, you may tell them that we will be heading there once we depart from this place.
Of course. If perhaps you would be so kind as you and your second to
Right now, I'm going to return back to my ship and attempt to calm my crew.
of course, and we will begin sending over supplies. I'll walk him out.
He says, he turns to you and he says, I understand that I am in a bad position relative to you. But as a captain, you understand that there are certain things that I cannot do.
Absolutely understand. You have to maintain order on your ship, and I promise you that we mean you no harm.
And he will go out and he will gather his second in command, Coach Chanel. He will bow and he will say, Professor, may I ask what you are a professor of?
You may ask.
What are you a professor of?
All manner of things. Is there something in particular you are lacking in knowledge of?
I know enough to know that I lack in knowledge of many things, Professor.
Well, Captain, my respect for you has increased 3.5%. I can say that you are wiser than, by saying such a thing, you are wiser than most people that I meet. I wanted to see if there was any magic involved in any of this stuff.
Oh, yeah. I think you can check at most. Do you mean, on his ship or on the people?
Both, but I was first thinking the people.
Okay. I think you can tell that maybe they have minor trinkets, that kind of thing, very low level stuff. No one here is magical, except for maybe Cochanel seems to have a little bit of the second sight.
Okay.
But definitely what has happened to these crew members is a mental malady, but with a certain amount of, you saw that corruption before at that temple of elemental evil, that it gets kind of inside you, and it seems like these people have gotten just the tiniest sort of whiff of what that was left over that has exacerbated their condition.
Okay.
But you will say, well, we are well met, Professor. And he and his first mate will head back. You can see Cochanel kind of relaying to Captain Scarlos what Threadless said, and there's kind of nod and kind of conversation there. They do that thing where they try not to look at you, Tassos, which you're very used to. So
Stare directly at them the entire time.
okay.
I will, yeah, Mr. Butters,
Yes.
2 tons of water, and let's get a bit of supply of food as well, and cast the nets. I'm sure everyone could enjoy a bit of fish for dinner.
And you can purify water, right?
I don't think I can, but I can give us a shitload of fish to eat.
Okay.
But no, I don't think I'm able to just transform water.
You can always miracle.
I could always miracle.
Yeah.
So we could give them water, and I think we have several ways we could always get water back.
Okay. Yeah. And since it's just commit for a day, I think, yeah, you can refill their water, and
okay.
they will be, you give them yours, and then you refill yours from the sea and purify it, so on. And the fish just run into your nets.
I will look at my three friends and can we have a brief moment to chat and motion
Yes.
them?
Are they sending the crew members over now?
No,
Or do
Tassos, they
need
are
time?
not. And
We wouldn't want to take them to see the storm giants again, but they'll be there at the island when we get back.
yeah, I'll motion everybody in and kind of close the door firmly. Tassos, you cannot do that.
Yes.
No.
No, I can. I did.
I mean, you cannot take crew from another ship as though they were possessions to be handed out.
They're not possessions. They're vassals' responsibilities. And don't worry, I wouldn't break anything. It's very simple. If they're being recalcitrant, I'll just wait until everyone's asleep. I can climb in the window, turn them into, I think, mice, perhaps, and fly back with them. No one will notice.
You cannot do that. I don't think you understand the entirety of the implications.
No, I've thought through it. It might take a few minutes to turn all three of them into mice, but I think I can handle it.
A captain must maintain order on his ship, and his crew must trust him. If his crew believed that he would allow some unknown person to simply abscond with them from his ship, it would be chaos. They would not trust him. They would not believe in him, Tassos. He cares for his crew.
He may care for them, but he cannot care for those three.
Then a means of convincing him of this is needed, and it can't be demands.
We're hunting down something much bigger than him and his problems right now. We don't have time for convincing.
You won't need to convince if you wait and let them take them back to the island where they will be when we return, and then you can take care of it.
He is taking port in Bashala, and if you wish to look in on them, I believe that you could go to his ship to check on them. But
Oh, as I said, those people are mine. I can check on them whenever I wish. But I don't think you fully understand what they are. You keep referring to them as crew members, as men, as traumatized people. They're not. They are trauma itself. They are fear, they are open wounds. And do you know the last time I ran across someone like that? It was Delak and Dala. And we saved them from a situation and shaped them into something positive and interesting. Do you know the time before that I met someone like that? He ate my arm. That's the difference between letting them rot away in a cage and doing something about it.
you claim them as your own because you sense fear in them. You sense what has happened to them. But Tassos, they are mine as well, for they are men upon the sea. And I do not give up that claim.
Then you will fix them?
I would give you the opportunity to do so in a way that saves that crew. They are but a part of it. Tassos, we have to leave that ship in incapable hands to do what it needs to do to get to port.
And if everyone on it falls to the land that those three inhabit, or is killed by the madness that spills out of them.
Do you believe that is something that is happening?
I don't know. I think it's something that we've seen happen.
Do you think they can make it to port?
I don't know.
Then why don't you? Honestly, Threadless and Evedro, all three of you are better capable of ascertaining the health of these people than I am. If they are a threat to the ship, then we would have to convince the captain of that. However, if they can return to port and wait for your aid there's no way we should be taking them with us. Certainly, we shouldn't be pressing them from their ship.
I
Sure.
Muted,
think
my love.
Threadless stops and she kind of says, as I understand it, Dalek and Dala were in danger, but only if they encountered more of the elemental evil of that dark seed. We know that that is not there on the island. If they go there, then they will not encounter the trigger. Correct, Tassos?
I don't know how it works. We found a seed growing in them, and I shaped it. Kept it from blooming into what it wanted to be.
I think you all will be startled when you hear Dala. Very much like Tassos, she's just there. She says, I will tell my brother to be waiting for them when they arrive. And I will have the cats there. That is what the cats do, is they catch the nightmares. That is what you've trained them to, Master Tassos. They'll be ready, and when this ship arrives in Bashala, they will carry out your will there.
Very well. Tell Dalek that I look forward to hearing what he learns about them. I would know more of these three.
Yes.
After
Yes, Father.
And after she leaves, Tassos will turn to Ransom, look him square in the face for a moment, and say, "You think far too little of yourself," and turn and leave.
Let's get them on their way.
You'll shorten the visit a little bit. There won't be quite the exchange. There's a certain amount of tension on both ships now, but they will share some of the soundings that they have and the maps to allow you to go over those, and you will give them course directions for Bashala. And they will say, we will be heading directly there from here. We will make our way there.
I will send word that you are coming and to be expected. A pilot will meet you at the harbor. And I also will assign a couple of birds to fly around this ship.
Okay.
They're not great about remembering stuff, but they're likely to stay around food. And
Sure.
Set them off.
Coach Chanel, before you depart, we'll come back over to where Evedra, where you and Threadless are, and we'll say, I have some books. Do you have any books you want to trade? She pulls out some books that are clearly from Vermilios.
Ooh. It's just the dyes on the cover. She goes, oh, that red is really good. And she goes, I have a few. How about you, Vedro?
I'm on vacation. I didn't bring any books with me. And
That's too bad.
I mean, what
And
if
then I say, I guess these are all mine then.
what if I told people back at the library, because where you're going, that's where our university is, and there's an enormous library. It's essentially,
this is the first time you've mentioned a library or a university. Wait, what is this?
well, I know your captain talks a lot. And I mean,
That's a fair cop.
I admire that. Yeah, we started a university in Threadless, and it's in fact some of the medical students there. We've just added a medical school, but I'm sure the first class is excellent. They may be able to help your crew members out, and there's a really big library. So you know what? Let me just write you a note. You give me a couple of these books. We just give the books to Threadless. I'll write you a note, and you take it to the library, and they'll find anything you want there. There is a 3-week waiting period to get a library card, but that's just because there's a lot.
But this note is gonna get past that 3-week waiting period. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we have a deal. And she leaves a stack of 4 books for you, and she'll take like one book that you have, just so she has something to read, and the note that you've given.
Yes, I have an epic poem that sort of midway through turns into how do you say, a particularly cheesy pandering romance that's very fun to read.
Oh, so it's like a Decemberist album.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and I enjoyed it immensely. So
Okay, they will trade those off.
I'll send word back to Bashala through one of the birds I can connect. It's to let them know somebody's coming and to be prepared to let the ship in and to give whatever can be given to help them.
Yeah. I think just before you all are kind of getting ready to like take down the boarding cross and all of that, you will see Ton Sakar cross from their ship back over to your ship, and they're all like, she just kind of comes and sits herself back down. You guess that she's been spending like the last 48 hours hidden in the captain's cabin in case she needed to kill him for you or anything, you know.
I'll show her the new books we have to read.
And you will all get set. I think probably amongst you, the person who's most excited, actually, as it turns out, about this meeting and about the maps and everything is your cartographer Crick, who carefully sketches those. Make sure that like Evedro looks at the maps, because Crick realizes that Evedro can like remember these things with frightening accuracy. Well,
and Ransom's navigator's not talking to me anymore.
Yeah.
So
and Captain Scarlos will set off. They leave behind some interesting spices that they have from Vermilios, and head on. And you will sail forward again. So continue to ply the waters, head in a different direction, check out Gunpala, take another tactic. What's the approach here, Ransom?
Yeah, well, we've gotten some information, so there'll be a kind of council of war with all of our significance there, and we'll have Crick, who's probably got a hold of their maps and laid out some stuff with us. All of the names will be there. Well, Seems like a raid for certain from our storm giants. We know that position estimated 2 to 3 weeks ago. Reports we've had say they're coming north, but we can't know that for sure. The closer we get, the more we'll need to be aware, but sounds like they got a big old huge storm around them, so they should be able to be seen from some distance. If we'd like, we could begin some scouting, see if we could locate them. Question is, what do we want to do when we find them?
Certainly the information that they might have live captives on their ship changes how we may go in, since I would rather not drown a lot of innocents.
Agreed.
However, fighting storm giants toe to toe on their ships doesn't sound particularly good to me.
We could spot them and infiltrate. I think we're more than capable of doing that.
Everyone looks at Tassos.
A small strike team could discover much, perhaps take out or hinder their progress. The wing is not going to be able to take them on in open battle. And while I have great confidence, certainly in what you could do, Threadless, from a distance, we may find ourselves overwhelmed if we're struck by lightning over and over again.
Yeah, I've outfitted the ship so that as long as you aren't touching metal when the lightning strikes, you should be able to survive it. I've sent cable down into the water, and all of the metal pieces are connected and run along that line. I'm sorry, I did that, but it hasn't, in no way is the integrity of the ship compromised by my changes.
I have faith in any improvements you make, Threadless.
And then she stops and she goes, the thing is Eben mentioned that usually the storm giants are, how do you say, they are bossed around by the cloud giants, and that perhaps we ought to look to see what the status is of the cloud giants. Are they traveling with these, or are these escaped storm giants?
Vedro, well, let's see. I think it's evening that I called this thing. Why don't we get to see our Debbie if that's what you'd like? Which would you rather have?
Oh, wait. I guess it's been a couple days.
Yeah.
And did we set sail in the evening?
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, it could be our Debbie. I'm thinking I might use a gift I have that basically lets me ask any question and know the answer to it. And I'm thinking that question is, I like where Threadless is going, which is, are these just storm giants or are there cloud giants too? But I can also use the question to simply ask, where are they? Does anyone have a preference?
Rather know what they are than where they are. I think we could find them one way or the other. That's me personally.
I like it.
Yeah.
So what is the question you are asking?
I think the question I'm asking is, what is the, I'm trying to find out whether it's just storm giants or there are cloud giants among the crew of this ship.
There are no cloud giants among the crew of that ship.
I think I conveyed this to my friends and cite numerous sources related to there was a detailed sociological study of storm giants, written about 15 years ago. And
You mean of storm giant mythos? Or of
no, it's the sociologists like observe them from afar,
Mm.
and so they realize that it is unlikely that they would be traveling with their cloud giant masters, I guess, rulers, governors.
So the
But why
storm
would-
itself wouldn't be them.
That was not included in the sociological study. This was just the makeup of their communities.
Mm.
But I suspect that there is, and Lowell, I don't know if you have a particular direction here, but that there is the storm giants and the storms are both symptoms of a larger force at work.
You certainly think that the storm giant pirates are infected with this tainted storm. What the relationship with the cloud giants is with that is an entirely different question. That's a different question that you could again commit effort if you want to ask another question.
I mean, my question would be are these escaped from the cloud giants? Do they want them back? Since this is essentially their servant groups.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't say that there's any limit on that.
No, but scene is a broader category. It's not just you talking in the cabin. So you will be committing some effort here if we have an encounter.
Yeah. Let me make this the last one. So Threadless wants to know, are these escaped storm giants? Are there cloud giants that are after the storm giants?
No, because the storm giants have thrown down the cloud giants.
It's a revolution.
Holy cow.
That is a much worse answer.
Oh dear.
So we have no cloud giant allies that we could call upon then.
Well,
Counter revolution.
I'm out of questions.
While we might have allies, we don't know where to search for them at the moment, but at least we know that we're only looking at one source.
Captain.
Yes, Mr. Butters.
There's some things strange on the horizon.
On my way.
And
I'll go up and look.
And you can see in the distance here, and again, we're at night. So there's a little bit of moonlight, a little bit of starlight. Is there a single moon or are there multiple moons, Tyler?
Well, I like multiple moons. I mean,
Okay.
if the option is multiple.
Yeah, and I think we did establish that there were multiple moons.
Yeah,
So
I think
we got
so,
those
yeah.
out. So we got a little more light, but you can see where there is a, Disneyfied special effect of that sort of weird circular clouds in the distance with the purplish colors at the edges and the lightning going around it, and the sort of the bank of the storm down to that. The Butter says, so we've spotted this storm and it's moving this way. And then he says, and then he gives you the telescope.
I will be able to see from my
And
Hawkeyes.
Then he turns your head that way and he points, and you will see this figure swimming. And it's notable because the figure seems to be made of stone. And it looks like it's probably 100 feet long. And it's
I'll Bionic Man look into it since I can see with perfect detail.
You will see that it is a being, sort of the skin looks like stone. You will see where its head is kind of above water, where it's, it's doing that. Like the head is keeping still, but the body is doing that. And you can see where it's like you can see in the eye sockets that there are people inside the eye sockets. Like maybe they've got some kind of glass or something. It's hard to tell from here, but there are a couple of like people.
Wow, I will tell
That is
Breathless
cool.
this immediately.
All right. I grabbed the telescope and look. I'm like, okay, what do the people look like, Lowell?
It's very hard to tell because you've got the spray of the surf. You only see them when the arm goes down, and you can just make out that you just barely tell that there are people in there where the eyes of this giant 100-foot statue is.
Would we like to go and see who's on the statue?
I think it's coming towards us. So it's either
No,
gonna...
it
No?
is heading towards the storm.
Interesting. Gotta follow that. Should we hail him?
I don't. Well, we could try. I would suggest we fly over.
Right, and I'll tell you right now, your hawk vision and your judgment of this, Ransom, is the angle that they're coming at the storm, the way you're heading at the storm, and the way the storm's heading at you. You are going to reach that storm before they do.
Okay. I would suggest that I veer the wing off, friends, and that we go and find out what's going on with the stone swimming person.
Yes, of
First.
course. Why aren't we doing that already?
Mr. Butters,
Yes.
say change course. We're moving, and I'll give
Good.
out the
You see
directions.
relieved. He's starting to turn the ship away from the storm. He's like,
Right.
yes, good.
And I'll have him veer to where it's kind of going parallel to, and I will look to the rest. We have a couple of, the easiest way for us to do this.
Take me there.
I can take you all. Would you all like to go?
Yes. I mean,
Obviously.
Who would we like to take with us?
and
We
I
can take two.
two others.
Two others.
Let's see here.
I'm a little tempted to say our assassin, and I like, Lasha might be interested to see this,
Oh, so you're saying Tansakar and Leisha? All right.
But if anyone has other suggestions, I can.
We can take them and Dala, and I'll turn into a flying thing myself.
Excellent. All right, then. We'll be there when you next know anything. Hopefully, we'll be there. Boink, 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 and I shove people up my sleeve and turn into a bird and fly.
So you fly. Take our second break for 5, and then we'll continue on.
I was looking across our group of on an excursion like this, pretty much we don't have to worry about food and water. We have people who can really handle all of that.
which is super nice.
And wild. I mean, it's neat to see us kind of in our godliness, and we've reached that point where we are really a very impressive group on the move.
Yep, still not quite like, ooh, divine, but
I mean,
yeah.
speak for yourself.
Yeah.
You're
You
certainly
people-
pushing the envelope there.
You
You've
people
got the
seem to believe
attitude.
very strongly that all of these human rules apply to you just because you think they do.
I mean, my portfolio is part of these human rules.
So Captain Ransom, you and Tassus, what form are you taking as you fly over?
What's Ransom turning into? A bird, I imagine.
Probably albatross.
It's like a black condor, something of equal size but jet black.
Okay. So you two will fly over, and you will see that this statue seems to have been molded with some armor on it. Its head is up. It actually kind of has a almost like a tiara or a torque on it. It kind of forms a decent place to land up top. You also see that there are clearly old cracks and on the back of the statue's head that have been repaired in a very weird way, where they kind of been bolted across, and leaving the cracks are kind of still visible. And you will. Do you want to like land on top? Do you want to like go up to the sort of the front where the figures are and that thing? Do you want to try and go in through the ear?
Does the cracks in the back, you say, are kind of bolted up, but does that look like an entry or?
No, look, they're pretty tightly sealed, it looks like.
I mean, if there's not an obvious way in from here, I'd suggest go knocking on the eyes.
There are ears that have a shape that seem to be another possible means of ingress if you don't want to go directly in. So I think you've got a couple options there.
What do you think, Tasso? Shall we present ourselves or shall we go in the ears quietly?
I suppose if there's an open way in the ears, we can try that.
All right. Then yeah, so I'll streak down towards the ear canal.
Okay.
And as I light in, and if it's large enough, I'll go ahead and
it is an ear canal.
So yeah, once we get inside, I go ahead and let everyone out.
And you will kind of
we're in the ear, friends.
There is some water that is splashing up into here and kind of runs down in a little bit of swimmer's ear, and it has that weird like being inside a shell, that kind of echo that you're getting in here. You see the tide going past outside, big arms.
So is this thing built like a living creature that is flesh of stone, or is this like a statue that's been more like carved like into a vessel vehicle?
You're an engineer. Why don't you? Do you have like a thing to determine purpose or things like that or anything like that?
I'm sure that I do, but do I have it? That's another question. Let's see here. No, none of my stuff is about like knowing.
Do you want to
But you-
spend a effort to invoke a miracle?
Sure, to understand what it is that I see
Yeah,
before me.
absolutely.
Sure. Yes, and I invoke a miracle with delight, because whether this is friend or foe, this is wondrous to me.
Absolutely. This is a giant undead god. It's a
Oh,
body of a god that has been carved out and is being animated by essentially necromantic forces.
so is this like Nguyen Lao's people, or is this like are these the masked people? Or is this something else?
I would say that you're like, this doesn't seem like the mask people, their powers are very much like they have a mask, it does a thing. Kind of
Okay.
this feels like different.
Have we heard of a major necromantic force that might have done a thing like this?
Well, there is the Empire of Ghosts,
Uh,
and there's also a dragon that is spewing undeath all over that city down to the south. So you've got a couple of necromancers that are possible on the table.
I am disappointed that it's just ooky necromantic magic. I shed a tear, an engineer's tear, that this is just, and I say, oh, sorry, Mr. God. Let's see here. She kind of goes, oh, it's necromancers. We should go.
About whom?
What? What's necromancers?
This is an undead god.
Wait, this is a god?
An undead god?
Yeah, apparently he chose to be big and made of stone. No. Now he's undead.
This whole thing is a god.
Yep,
It's a dead god.
a dead
Undead.
god that's been.
Undeaded.
It is an
Undead.
animated dead god.
Dead god.
I-
Ha!
Wish I were big enough to hug it.
Do you sense any fear?
Touch the wall and try and focus on, is there like
Oh, there's nothing. No, it's a corpse.
no.
Not even your thing, Tassos, even though it's creepy as heck.
Doesn't mean I can't like it.
But it won't like you back.
The question is it going to fight our enemy, or is it going to join our enemy?
Oh,
We should find that out.
I bet the people this way know.
all right. Well, it's a good thing we didn't drop in front of the eyeballs. I guess we could scout from here. Over here, they're nefarious plans.
And I think this is one of the places where Professor Avedro's like medical knowledge comes in incredibly handy from the medical school setup that you can direct people through this. You will get to another section of this skull here, and it kind of opens up, and it's clear that the god has been hollowed out, and frameworks have been built inside of it. You know, it's got rigging and things like that. And I can actually kind of see down the neck, going back, that there's actually like some arcane engine stuff back there and some magic tech. And then there is a set of steps that go up to a kind of encased sort of clear crystal platform, like the front part of the skull there, and you can see that there are 8 or 9 people in there, one person in each of the windows, the eyes of the soul, that are standing there, and another person. They are all dressed in kind of shimmering white dresses that kind of drape down to the floor. They all have very long hair, some of them tied up. The only color that kind of breaks that is some red of ribbons and things like that. And they seem to be kind of waiting and watching. There are some seats, but they all seem to be standing right now, kind of observing outwards. And then you'll see one of them kind of, who's been standing there kind of meditatively, kind of look like they're about to kind of turn around. Now, you all are concealed by a cloak of night, I assume, at this point. So if you wish to remain hidden, you can do so. But you'll see this figure turn around, kind of pale skin, brilliantly red lipped, the like little studs along the eyebrows. The eyelids themselves have been blackened with a dark red rouge, and they kind of look back like, you guess maybe they're a magician of some kind to like sense things. So maybe they've picked up that something unusual has come, but they don't see you.
We should say hi. I'm getting very positive vibes off of these people.
Petro, or Devi, do you recognize who these people are?
Sure. Seems like something I might know.
So these are clearly
Necromancer.
representatives. They call themselves shepherds from the Empire of Ghosts. What else do you know about these shepherds, Professor Avedro?
I know that they have been dabbling in necromancy for hundreds of years, and that all of their kind of military prowess deals with necromantic magic. So this is what we are in is some kind of war machine from their perspective.
Perfect. How do you all wish to proceed?
I'm just gonna tell them that I really like their ship.
Why? So you could become, I don't know, hollowed out too?
They could barely fit even one of them inside me.
Become a suit.
This Empire of Ghosts, or what? Do we know anything about it?
They are one of the three empires outside, like the Empire of Hours and the Empire of Iron. You don't know much about them. They were cut off like the others were for a long time. So what their current status is very much unknown.
I would like to disclose the flaw
Okay.
and commit effort yet again for the scene and choose a target. I think it's the person who's been turned around to look at us.
Okay.
Creature or institution, know its current weakness and most vulnerable elements.
Well, certainly healing, life, fertility, because this is a clearly a sorcerer who has necromantic abilities. I think that the other thing is that while they have a certain amount of power themselves, it is the fact, as you pointed out, that there is kind of a necromantic engine running here. They're certainly individually, they're not nearly as powerful as you are.
Would that be considered? Would necromancy be considered low magic?
Generally, yes. This actual this thing itself is more than that, but individual necromantic spells, if they were to cast something on you, that's low magic.
Okay.
That's number one.
You could see if they have similar purpose to us to stop these giants, or do we feel that their mere presence is a threat and they should be dispatched?
No, we should definitely talk to them and see if yes, if they're on their way to fight the giants, or if they just want to like hang out sometime, maybe listen to music.
I'll look over to Threadless, who had shown the most concern thus far.
I would think that we could tell what their purpose is by how this thing is outfitted as well as anything else. Does it seem to be outfitted for a fight, or is it outfitted for something else?
It definitely has a good deal of weaponry to it. Yes.
Looks like they're going in with plans to fight. We could definitely let them soften the giants up anyway. But I bet they would love a bunch of dead storm giants.
Perhaps then we should find out if they're allies. Agreed?
I think the question is are we allies to them? Because that certainly changes who we are, isn't it?
You seem very judgmental about these people you haven't even met.
Oh, as if you are never judgmental, Tassos. This time it's my turn.
Yeah. Is necromancy considered innately evil? It is.
Oh, wait, no.
It depends on where you're at, but
Depends on if you're alive or not.
yeah. I think amongst the common people, necromancy is terrifying and scary and awful. Mind you, you operate on a slightly different scale and set of perceptions than normal people, but amongst the common folk, if you were going to go and say, "Hey, there's a necromancer. What do you think of them?" They'd be like, "What the fuck?"
I researched opening a department of necromancy at the school. I did some market research, talked to some folks about it. We interviewed a very prominent necromancer who'd emigrated from the Empire of Ghosts. And let me just say that it did not go well. And as soon as we started asking around about it, people said that they would leave the school. So, look, I find it interesting. But I don't know that I want to talk to these folks.
Plus the perfume bill would be astronomical. My
Oh,
God, cover up the smell.
It's
okay if you're uncomfortable, or Debbie, I'll talk to them.
I figured you would volunteer for that. I'm saying we should not talk to them.
Does this jacket stay stylish eternity?
Tassos, you always look good. You always look good, especially to talk to necromancers. I like where Threadless is going. Let's let these folks battle it out a bit and see where they're going. And intervene if they choose to reanimate any dead storm giant.
We can find out answers to all of these questions and more by simply talking to them. They are right there.
Right. But I don't want to be pals.
All right. Let's fall back. We'll observe them.
It might occur to you, Tassos, that fertility is one of her things, you know?
Just as if you were to like if there be a happy dreams group that you encountered that you might find it objectionable to go and pal around with. But so Ransom, same way out.
Yeah, I'm going to begin trying to pull us out.
Okay.
And provided everyone follows, it's we'll see if Tassos does. But yeah, the idea is to go ahead and leave and see what they do.
That is the question, Tassos.
Yeah, I'll follow people out.
Okay. So you will return back to the ship. Butters is running parallel, and you want to kind of veer off so that they hit the storm before you do.
That the stone that the undead giant or undead god does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be up at the mast and I'm gonna make sure I keep them in sight.
So you will turn your ship, and you can tell that the storm is definitely following the ship. He's clearly sighted your sails and is clearly coming this way. So it is heading. So you kind of veer off, and we get this weird thing where you kind of turn to like maneuver it away such that the giant will get closer, and you will see it go in, and sort of as it gets to the edge of the storm, you see it dive. And you can see now in the storm, you will see a big hulking metal ship, like braced together out of bits and plates of things, and mounted. It doesn't have any sails. Instead, there is a like a field of lightning and electricity that it is running across on the water. It's not even in the water. And it is moving quickly, and you will see as it kind of closes in that you will see that there are a bunch of storm giants that are kind of moving up, and then you'll see the giant kind of surface, like kind of clearly went under the vessel, kind of surfaces, and there are crackling bodies, like ants on it, maybe 70 or 80 of these, like that have grabbed onto it, and they look like lightning zombies, like
that are on the god.
Yeah, that are like waterlogged, water-soaked, bloated body zombies that are crackling with lightning, and the god is kind of falling back like this is not what it was expecting, and it's like kind of doing that, and that big vessel will kind of like it kind of starts to come to a stop. What do you all want to do?
The mechanism for the lightning that runs between the water and the ship, what kind of thing is that? Like, can I ground it?
Let's think here.
I mean, I have the whole ocean to dump all of that charge into.
Yeah,
That's typically what you would do.
Clearly a magical effect. It is a like yours, like an invocation. So you could spend effort to temporarily negate it.
That's interesting.
With your abilities, I think that would bring it to. It would certainly stop its forward motion. It would take a bit for it to be able to maneuver again and generate that field. And you can tell, like this lightning is purple and blue and crackling and just wrong.
So is this elemental evil storm thing?
Yes. What do you want to do, Threadless?
I think that's probably the first thing that I will do. In some ways, it might give the undead giant a chance to get some damage in, if that makes any sense.
All right. What does it look like when what do you do to temporarily disperse, and essentially this thing will grind to a halt, then kind of hit the water and grind it to a halt?
Yeah, I think that what you see is she fires a bolt, and it has on it, like, it's a weird thing. It's like cork in the middle, but it's like a ball that's been covered of cork that's been covered with metal thinly.
Okay.
And it's got runes sketched all over it. This was a plan that she had to kind of, drop any like shield or anything, but she didn't expect a thing like this. So she's altered that, and she adds some more runes. You see her kind of do that, etches them in quickly, and then fires this in right, like sort of under the midship
It'll
area.
hit that field, and the field kind of gets sucked into that, and it actually kind of like drops like a solid thing under the water, and the ship kind of big splash as it drops 15 feet from above the water, smashes down into the water and kind of shakes. It's clearly seaworthy, but suddenly it's thrown and shakes and it stopped moving. What do you want to do, Ransom?
Okay. I think I'm going to kind of launch myself off the ship and flying, and as I get down to about water level, I smash my hand down into the surf, and I'll expend an effort as I send a tsunami to see if I can wash those lightning zombies off of the god.
Absolutely. So tell me what that tsunami does.
I strike a blow that becomes a crashing wave, 20 feet in width, 30 feet in height, and 100 feet in length.
Okay.
So, and it can push away buildings and that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. So let's do this. Let's read this as straight damage against the mob, because that's the way they do with AoEs. So why don't you roll me a D10?
Yeah, creatures take your level in points of damage triple for mobs.
Okay, so 15 points. So a bunch of those that will rock the god back, almost flipping it over, but it will send a bunch of those zombies, torn off from it. And kind of they flip through the air and then land. Evedra, what do you want to do?
I think I'm going to Purging Noonday Glaze. Burning Light permanently banishes all undesired low magic out to sight range.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to de-zombify the zombies.
Interesting. Yeah.
De-animate them.
Yeah. Let's say, I think between the tsunami and that effect, I think you can essentially get those zombies off of this thing. They're clearly maybe dragged along underneath the ship. What was like where they were, and they will come flying off of there. Tassos, what do you want to do?
What's going on with that ship now?
Well, there are storm giants, 12, 14 feet tall, crackling with purple black lightning that are split half, like looking towards this a statue, and half towards your ship, and they are picking up what looks like cannonballs.
I guess I sort of need to move closer to them to do much of anything, and I think the water seems safer than the sky right now.
Okay.
So I'll go dolphining off towards their ship to get a closer look at what's going on there.
Okay. So whoosh, you drop into there. Let's see. So you will see that the statue kind of starts to right itself. However, and there's not as many, like there's almost no zombies there. However, you can see that it's having some problems, like maybe some of the necromancers who operate via some low magic are having their enchantments fucked up in there. And you can see that they are trying to right themselves. And clearly, it's the first time you've kind of seen the chest come up, and you can see that there is almost like a big black opal there in the chest, and they're clearly trying to get that like up. It's like a weapon upwards. And at the same time, you will see the storm giants start throwing these cannonballs. And let me roll for them. Let's do that. And they are missing because that thing is flying back. You'll see when the cannonballs hit the water, they explode in lightning. And then there's a group of storm giants that are firing cannonballs towards your ship. So let's see. And they will hit, but the lightning doesn't explode off of them because of Threadless's preparations. When they hit the ship, they don't explode out. They don't let go with that. However, these are cannonballs that come flying out. Tyler, roll me a D20.
All righty. 17.
So what the damage you're taking, I'm calculating for the ship, is the margin between what they rolled and what you just rolled. So like the cannonballs just hit off of like non-vital spots and skip, but you realize that they're going to keep throwing these things. Threadless, back to you. You are muted if you're talking.
So I've prepped the crossbows. They have bolts in them that are made to punch through these giants, and they have cords on them.
Okay. So let's have you roll. This feels like an attack roll against the mob.
Mhm.
And this is, we'll say this is an AoE weapon. Let's have you roll to attack.
All right. And it says that my ranged weapons have maximum range.
Oh yeah.
And missiles. Okay, so I have a pretty good chance of hitting here, but I have to go to the thing. Sorry.
The roller.
The roller. And then I'm going to roll a D20, and everything I'm doing will depend on that. So
Exactly.
I know, I love it so much. Not. Okay.
Do you have that luck power to replace a die or?
Yeah, I rolled a 16.
Okay, well, that's good.
So I'm rolling a 1D20. I rolled a 6, so I'll substitute in the 16.
Okay, so roll me a D10 +2 for damage to the mob.
Okay. Let's see here. D10 plus what?
2.
2. Okay.
And this is red straight. This is straight damage versus the mob.
Okay. So. A 12.
Look at that. So there is that barrage and it's loud when all of these crossbows fire out as you fire that volley, and it smashes into that like the storm giants that are raised up to do the next volley, and they will, you take out a mass of them, and you have lines connected from your ship.
Yeah,
if you
and
want.
as soon as they hit, essentially the crew all kick over these incredible, like essentially these big balls of steel or whatever, but essentially they've got like a cable with metal in it going down to a metal ball that's now in the water. So all of their storm powers are going to be
Grounding
sort of
some of that.
grounding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So provide a certain amount of resistance. Ransom, what are you doing?
Oh, they've been firing on my ship. I'm most unhappy. So seeing these storm giants there, and I'm kind of flying along.
There are two big mobs on the ship. One of them has just been decimated by Threadless. The other one is still facing towards the god statue. And you will see it looks like there are two like bigger storm giants on there as well.
Are they together or are they separate from each other?
They look like they're in different portions of the ship. Like one is giving orders to the stern, and one is giving orders to the
bow.
Bow. I was going to say aft.
Stern's the aft. So I'm going to, because I'm flying, I'm going to get up a bit of height, and the one, let's see, stern might be hopefully who's driving. So getting some distance up, and I am diving down towards that person as I transform my hands into these talons.
Perfect. Is this an auto hit?
Well, I'm guessing they're not lesser foes.
No.
So no, I'm doing my talents and beak at this point.
Okay.
So I roll to do damage, or roll to hit.
AC is a 2.
AC of a 2. All right. Let's see.
On these 2 leader types.
Alrighty. So let me make sure on this. The first time each scene that you make plunging attack from altitude, it is an automatic hit. I'm sorry.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So go ahead, and your damage is
D10, and I roll twice, taking the better.
okay.
So roll it. Got a 6.
And that's
Plus damage. Plus, is there any bonus for strength? There isn't, is there?
You add it onto that roll so we can calculate the points that you do.
Okay, so that's 7.
So you rolled a 7 total.
Mhm.
Okay. So they will take 2 points then. I'm going to put that little damage thing in the thing again. Just to remind everybody how that works. So yeah, you into them and you're there, and this storm giant turns to you and essentially grabs out, draws this cutlass that is crackling with lightning. Professor Avedro.
So there are 2 leaders and 2 mobs.
Yeah, up on the ship, there are 2 leaders and 2 mobs. The one mob is very bad shape that was firing at you. The other mob is intact that is firing on the god.
I'll try and finish off the damaged mob with
Okay.
Corona of Fury.
Oh.
I think in my case it just should be called Corona of Arrogance.
Yeah.
It's commit effort for the scene, hurl a torrent of my word's energy at a group of foes, affecting all within a 30-foot radius of a target point within my sight. And I think I had attached this to sun. So this is basically shooting them with the sun.
Okay. Roll to hit.
Okay. Hang on. I had a roller. Give me a second. Where'd it go?
AC is a 2.
I did not roll very well. I rolled a 6.
So that what does that mist look like? Like, what do we see?
I think it just the power of the sun does manifest, but it strikes the ocean adjacent to the ship.
Probably, even though it is as much psychic advantage as anything, we do see the waters kind of tear away from that as your words cut through it, the very substance.
I think there's heat because it's from the sun, so
Oh,
the
yeah.
water starts to boil too.
Steam fires up. Tassos.
So I think Dripping Tassos Monkey has made it up to deck level to see what's going on Giant Ship, and there was the leader that Ransom attacked, and then there's the other one. Tell me about them.
So they both look like almost twins, like taller than the other storm giants, clearly commanders here. Like the other storm giants, kind of crackling with that purple and black energy. They look nasty. They clearly have the sort of full blessings of the corrupted storm on them.
No.
Nice. So gonna point at the one that Ransom didn't dive bomb.
Okay.
And I'd like to use Monsters of the Id to conjure a monstrous manifestation of something a visible target is frightened of. Would Cloud Giants be an interesting answer there, or does he have something more personal?
Sure,
that
I
would be
think that
interesting?
certainly makes sense.
So out of the storm clouds above and glistening with reflected lightning comes a cloud giant gently descending down to land angrily in front of him and punch the fuck out of him.
Absolutely. AC is a 2.
So he has really good attacks on anybody that might want to come up to attack him. Let's see, it's a 10 hit dice, AC of 5, flight movement of 30, hit bonus of 10, and do a d10 damage, but their attacks always successfully hit the entity they're summoned from and roll d20 damage against them. So it automatically hits him and does. I rolled a 3 on the d20.
So 3 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a minute. I might be able to call for another thing. I'm not sure. I have to check to see how often I can do that because that was pitiful.
That was very pitiful. 1 point of damage. It's a sad cloud giant.
Yeah, so I have to committed effort, but you can re-roll a roll I'm aware they just made. So please re-roll that.
Is that damage
roll.
read straight or on the table?
It doesn't say anything about it
Then
being
it's
read
then it's on the
straight.
table. Okay.
Oh, well. So go ahead.
Oh, wait, so it can't be re-rolled?
It can be re-rolled. It goes against the table though.
Yeah.
Oh, that table. Got you. Yes. Okay. Sorry, misunderstood. But that's a 16. That's much better.
Okay, so you will do 4 points of damage. Kind of hits against that. And it's,
you know, there's a cloud giant standing on their ship and beating up their leader.
and it will attack. First attack is an auto hit from it, and it will do. This thing has 10 hit dice, Patrick.
Yes, the id monster.
Okay.
Sure. Yes, has an AC of 5 and a hit die of 10.
Okay. So that will. It'll only do 2, so we'll have to spend its other action against that, which means d20 plus 11 plus 5. So I need. We'll hit with that one. 4, 7. So it hits this thing twice hard, and the phantasm is nearly out, but is still there.
Ooh.
That first hit just connects, and then it has to kind of hook back to make that second shot and smacks into it. Ransom, this thing turns to face you.
Is it not Sherry next? Oh, okay.
No, they go, and then we start the next.
I got you. I got you.
So the first shot is going to hit you for 6.
Oh shit, he hit me.
Yeah, auto hit.
Oh,
They have
how
one
much?
auto hit and one rolled.
Okay, so 6.
Yep.
Ouch.
And what is your AC?
Does Dex affect AC?
Uh,
I was looking for that too, because it says I can't be getting anything from armor, but then there was some. Yeah, once you chose you if any, subtract your dexterity modifier from your armor class.
So what is your AC?
0.
0. So rolling this plus 11 will hit you.
Damn.
And we'll smack you for 10.
Holy crap.
Threadless. The
Right.
mobs are regrouping to try and throw at your ship, but they spend their action on that. In fact, actually, I need to roll 2d6 for them. They're still in it. They don't like break on that. And the other group is firing at the statue right now.
Okay, let's see here. Do my crossbows, because of, do they are they immediately ready? I don't know. That
Well,
seems,
we're back to what your action is. Do you want to? Are you utilizing them again? I mean, you can do that if you want, or you can do something else.
yeah, I can just fire, I suppose. Let's see here.
The targets right now you have visible for this crossbows are the rest of that mob.
Yeah, I guess I will take care of that if I can.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I will roll the 1d20.
Yep.
A 15.
That'll hit. Absolutely.
Okay. And then same damage.
Yep.
Okay,
Spread straight against a mob.
18.
Yeah, but between the volleys of arrows and Professor Vedro's oh no, you missed on that one. But even I think with that, that will take out that mob. There's a mob that's sort of out of sight right now that's firing at the gods, and there are 2 figures that are up on decks that probably from where you're at can't get a line of sight on. Ransom.
Oof. Well, I am badly hurt. So is it run or try to? How bad does this guy look from what little I've done to him?
He's pretty nasty.
I'm
Do you have any
gonna
healing abilities that you can expend effort on?
No, I don't heal.
I do, but I need you closer.
Right. If something says inflict die of damage, is that straight through?
No, it'll say straight if it's
Gotcha.
that. If a thing does say like do 5d6 damage or whatever, or that kind of thing, you'll roll each of those individually, and you'll do damage for each of those dice. There's I can't remember what it's called, if it's blast or whatever. There's abilities that do that are kind of big alpha strike ones.
Oh,
Do you want to invoke a miracle?
I do.
What would you like to invoke? Would you
I'm
like to
going-
heal yourself, or would you like to attack?
I'll just get into a rotation if I start healing myself. So I'm going to attack.
Okay. So that's a divine wrath is what they call that. That's sort of the generic one. And it's a smite, which means you can't do it every round. You can do it every other round.
Right.
You commit that energy for the
Mhm.
day, the effort, and you do 5d8 damage.
All right.
Each die gets your dexterity bonus.
Each die gets my dex. All
Yeah.
right.
So if you want to roll 5d8 on the roller, I can calculate up your damage from that.
All right. Ooh, 7. So that's 10, 10, 11, 8, 8.
10, 10, 11, 8, 8. So that's 12. That's 16 points of damage there, Tyler. That is, what does that look like? Like, what are you smiting him with? Because you just staggered him like over half his health.
I think that I moved down and grabbed my glowing cutlass that I pulled from the other realm, and it is, we see that swiftness, that supernatural dexterity of mine. So there is this kind of blur of blackness as I'm moving, slashing up from the legs, up across the torso, across the head, and just like a blur of black and shadow.
The blood comes out red but crackling with that energy, that lightning across it, and it staggers back like it's never been hit like this. Though it does pull itself back up to come at you again. So that was Ransom. Avedro.
Yeah.
Oh, which reminds me, we're on second round, so everybody gets +1 to their attack rolls.
I cannot use Corona of Fury again because that was a smite that I used last round.
Yeah.
And I'm not really near these folks, so I can't punch them. Can I use a miracle to attack them?
You need to see them. Do you have any way to with your current abilities to visualize or to cast your vision up? Because those two guys are up on the decks on this big ship that's up there.
Oh, I see. And Ransom is up there with them.
Ransom and Tassos, you assuming are up on decks. You're certainly seeing crackling of darkness and flames. You saw a cloud giant manifest. You've seen Tassos do that before. You can kind of see that. So there's clearly a big fight going on the deck.
My inclination is to use a miracle to fly up to them. And if I can, try and heal Ransom.
Absolutely. Do you have a miracle for healing?
I don't have any gifts for any of those things.
Okay. So you're going to expend 2 effort for the day. 1 to gain flight, and that flight will remain for the rest of the scene. So if you do that, essentially, what does it look like? How are you giving yourself the power of flight?
I think this is my journeying word. And I end up concentrating on like a navigation device. In fact, I snatch it out of the navigator's hand. And I'm like,
absolutely.
And then I use that to kind of concentrate, and the a blue glow engulfs me as I ascend.
And you want to mimic the gift of a word. So, Sherry, you have a healing word, right? I can't hear you.
It actually says if he's in sight, I can heal him. So, but mine says effort for the day to cast. All allies in sight are refreshed, regaining vigor as if well fed and rested, and healing 1d6 hit points of damage plus the Godbound's level.
Okay.
Unlike, yeah.
Yeah. So, Professor Avedro, you can spend that energy and you can heal Ransom for a d6 plus 5.
Yeah.
Roll it.
Oh my god. I rolled a 1. Plus 5, that's 6 points.
6 points, Ransom.
Tried.
Tassos.
You
But
feel
you
the
are
warmth,
up there.
the warmth of the sun on you.
So you've kind of gone up, and now you're above the deck, so you can see what's going on up there, and get a line of sight on Tassos and the one Storm Giant captain, and Ransom and the other one. Tassos.
I mean, I'm not unhappy with how things went the first time. So from the other end of the ship where Ransom has been attacking the other Storm Giant leader, the clouds open up and another glistening, beautiful cloud giant comes floating down to the ship. And this time, between the two of them, they echo back and forth. You thought to overthrow us. You thought to escape us. But we are eternal, and you were made to serve. Before he smashes down into the Storm Giant's head.
So let's have you make the attack roll on the Storm Giant that's closest to you.
So that's the first one that I attacked?
Yep.
All right, so
AC is 2.
It automatically hits.
Oh, that's right.
And I rolled another 3 for damage.
Okay, so that's going to be 1 point. And then on the other one that Ransom is on.
That one is a 17 for damage.
Okay, so that'll do 4 more points. So he is at that much. Okay, Storm Giants. First shot by the Storm Giant on the one that's closest to you. Will spend his auto hit on that, and will hit and shatter this, and then goes charging up to you, buddy. And like, you'll see this crackle kind of manifest, another face manifest in front of its face, and it says, "You've been to the temple." And then it swings. What is your AC?
Little Tassos monkey shrieks, but I have an AC of 10.
You have an AC of 10.
Isn't he made of jello? Like, you know,
That will hit. And you will take 7 points of damage as he cracks into you with that.
All right.
The mob. Oh, wait, let me do the giant. We'll do auto hit to down there by Tyler. We'll spend his auto hit to hit this thing instead of you. And then he has to spend his other action. Which will hit. Oh, yeah. So, Ransom, this thing appears in front, this phantasmal cloud thing, as the Storm Giant is going to attack you, hits it. It doesn't break, but then that second blow shatters it. But it eats up his action, eats up his turn. And we come to the next round. Everybody gets a +2 to attack rolls at this point. Threadless, you're first.
Since I do not, because of the height of the ship, have any kind of line on the mob on the other side of the ship, can I see the individual giants? I mean, I will put myself up in the rigging actually to see them.
Okay, yeah, I think
that makes
that
any sense.
if you climb up in the rigging, you can just make out
The big guys.
Yeah, you see one of them is attacking, desperate, cutlass fighting. It's just shattered this thing, is striking at Ransom and like slicing, and their blades are hitting against one another, and the other one's hit a monkey.
Trying to look at the monkey, and I'm like, oh, where is the most, I don't know, blood of my pals strewn about?
I think Ransom is
I will
bleeding.
I will drop that one then. I will do my best to drop that one.
Okay,
So,
what are you doing?
essentially, I am going to spend that effort to make sure that I do maximum damage,
Okay.
which,
So,
and they act as if they have AC 9 when I go
Okay.
to attack them.
all right. So attack roll versus AC 9, which is effectively AC 11 with the +2.
Mhm.
AC 11, and
I rolled a 1.
luck that.
I have to spend an effort to do that. Oh, that's getting me low on effort. I'll try it, sure. Let's see if I can just swing this around so we get a little bit of thing. Yes, I will spend the effort and I will re-roll my attack. An 18.
Oh, yeah. So that will hit, and it does max damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4. Yeah, it is almost out.
All right. Do it.
Ransom. This thing is on its last leg. Staggers backwards.
Then I think I move in, swinging a claw and cutlass.
Okay. AC is 2, but you've got a +2 to hit.
Okay.
Unless you want to spend a word or something that does something.
No. No. I'm gonna swing it.
Okay.
12 plus 3, 15.
15 plus the plus his armor class, which is 2. That becomes a 17 plus the 2 for the round is a 19, which is not going to hit.
Damn.
Take that swing and do not land. Professor Avedro.
There's the boss that's attacking Ransom.
Mm-hmm.
There's the boss that's attacking
A monkey.
The monkey. And there's one more mob.
Yeah, there's the mob that's firing at the
At the god.
At the god. And
I'm gonna go after Ransom's boss.
Okay. AC is 2.
And I think I'm using this Corona Fury. Corona
Okay.
Arrogance again. God damn it. I rolled a 4.
So that will shatter and crack along the deck, but misses him. And you see the storm god grin now.
I just really hope that Ransom's navigator is not watching.
Yeah.
That would be very embarrassing.
He is. I can hear the chuckles.
Tassos.
Tassos Monkey stands up straight for where he'd sort of gotten punched back a little bit. And as they stare up at the storm giant above them, like this wound that was sort of bleeding that had hit across their forehead, just the blood runs back up and back into their skin as it closes up. And Tassos Monkey just smiles up at the storm giant as a gigantic cloudy hand claps down on its shoulder from behind as I'm summoning a new one to spin it around and punch him in the face again, saying,
Perfect.
I told you we were immortal.
Spend that effort and roll that damage.
Uh, 12.
So it will take 4. It is getting worn down.
Oh, and then the one on Ransom's.
Oh,
guy
it's
as well.
gone.
Oh, did it get popped
Oh,
too?
yeah. Oh, you are lucky. This one has to spend both its actions to, again, deal with this god cloud, and it will shatter it again. Ransom.
Yep.
1 point
Whew.
And what is your AC? 0?
0.
Okay.
That feels like it's really good.
Oh, and I missed
Oh, hallelujah.
1 point with the auto hit, and I missed with the other swing.
Whew.
I'm going to have you go first on this round just because the momentum is there, and then I'm going to have Threadless go. Escalation die is a 3.
Is a 3. So, God, I should be able to hit rolling, but I'm scared of rolling. I should probably just spend effort.
Do you have an auto hit ability?
I don't have an auto hit ability at this point against this guy because I've already done it on him.
You'd have to spend like a miracle.
I
An
think
effort
I
for the
am.
day.
Yeah. I am. I'm spending a miracle, and I'm doing that wrath upon him once more.
Okay, so the wrath isn't an auto hit, but it is a bunch of damage. You could mimic essentially one of Sherry's words to auto hit, because
Okay, yeah, because the wrath one I have to roll to hit, and then I get a whole bunch of rolls for damage, right?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
what that
right.
is?
Yeah.
Then I might as well just not spend the effort and roll rather than.
Take your chances. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of bonusy. So yeah, actually, yeah. I'm going to swing my glowing cutlass.
Yeah.
which,
What's your attack bonus?
My attack bonus is 5.
Okay. And then we're adding another 3 for the round and another 2 for his AC. So you're rolling and adding 10.
Adding 10, plus I get to, and this is what I was going to say, since I'm pulling this is my magic weapon I got from the last time. Can I use Dex with this weapon, by glowing cutlass, rather than strength? That's
Sure. Does
bonus
that
I
raise
wanted
that
out of
attack
it.
bonus up by 1 then?
Well, no, that'll give me an extra 3. So,
Well,
my attack bonus is normally 5.
but the attack
plus-
bonus is based on the. Oh, let me see here.
Yeah, my base attack bonus is 5.
Okay.
3 with Dex, 3 with yours, with the escalation.
Yeah. So roll and add 13.
And add 13. Okay. Whew. Come on.
There we
27.
go. Roll damage.
Alrighty.
Roll your damage with your dex bonus. So add 3 to your die roll.
And my cutlass is a D8. So I'm gonna get rid of some D8s real quick. There we go. Ugh. 4.
So that is going to do 1 point, which is not quite enough.
No.
Threadless.
Okay. Here we go. I'm rolling 1d20 to hit, and I'm adding 5, I think, right?
Base attack bonus plus whatever your dex bonus is.
I always forget to look at what my base attack is. Hold on a second.
I believe it's 5.
7. 7. For ranged weapons, 7. Right?
Okay, so
No.
it already has your.
Oh no, it's 5. It's sorry. It says ranged weapon is 7 is my damage.
Yeah,
whatever
'cause
that
it's-
means.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
So-
you're adding your dex bonus. So it's rolling and adding 7. Plus 3 is 10, plus 2, so adding 12.
So it gives me a 17.
That will miss.
Damn it. I don't usually.
Evedro.
I'm gonna swoop down and punch Ransom's boss.
Absolutely. AC is 2. Escalation die is 3. So you're adding 5 to whatever your base attack bonus is.
which is also 5. This is Body of Burning Light.
Ooh.
I'll commit effort, and my weapons are unarmed attacks count as magical weapon. Do a minimum of a D10 damage.
Perfect.
First, I need to hit,
Punch him in the snoot.
which I have not been able to do once this session.
That'll hit.
You think?
Right. You have base attack bonus
5.
5, and then do you have what's your strength bonus?
-1.
A -1.
So that doesn't add in 3 plus 2. That will miss. It is just
Narrowly.
a 20. A narrow miss. And oh, the D20, the OSR. Here is it where it pays off so badly.
Yes.
Tassos.
I think Tassos Monkey will look up sadly at the storm giant in front of them and give a deep sigh. And then, with a loud simian shriek about how no one understands their place in this psychodrama, Tassos Monkey will go flying at the storm giant's face with long, wicked, unmonkeyish claws flashing.
Let's have you make that attack roll.
I miss all my people that did auto hits. So that's +3. So that's 1. That is a 1 that I rolled.
That
A
is a 1.
I rolled a 1.
So what is that? What does that look like? What goes wrong?
I think I have failed to consider the physics of the situation, and like a 10-pound monkey, the storm giant just swats me out to the sea.
I like that. Professor Vedro,
Is it back to me?
take 9 points damage as this storm giant swings into you. And then the roll to hit will miss on you, Tyler.
Woohoo!
This thing swings out, strikes at Vedro, who punched him, like cuts through, and then swings back, trying to balance at you, Ransom, and misses. Ransom, your action escalation die is a 4.
I swing to try and hit him. Come on. I will hit him.
Roll your
I'll-
damage, D10 plus 2, plus 3.
Yep. All right. Roll.
Oh, yeah. Where
Solid
does that
hit.
land? Where does that blow land that drops this thing?
I think looking at where he hit my dear friend, and swings back across at me, I leap over towards Ordevi, and as I do, I raise up that cutlass and catch him right up underneath the armpit, and there's this glow as the cutlass cuts through and takes the arm off completely.
Perfect. This storm giant will look. The one that got is left on the other end, and we've got the mob there, and it will launch up into the sky, and you see it leap and kind of crackle with lightning as you see that tainted lightning filling it, and it'll kind of crackle off and explode. And there'll be that raining down, and that ship will kind of crack open and start to list and give way. Your ship has the iron lines and protections that you put on it, so when that rains down, that'll be dispersed out into the water. Any fish within a half mile of here, Ransom, are dead.
No.
And it's kind of smoldering. You can see the god husk is kind of staggering back, getting itself oriented. And we will take up next time with that one ship sinking, the god statue trying to right itself, and figuring out what the next step is. Does that sound fair?
Whew.
Okay. Let's hold off on stars and wishes for next time, since we're running a little bit over. I don't like to run too late. We are going to stop there and curse the dice. That this is what the OSR is sometimes. So thank you all. I'm going to stop the recording.